welcome to another episode of Call It in the Ring. And tonight I am Jordan, and I am joined here with somebody you haven't heard in a while. Best friend Ryan. How you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing good. How's everybody else doing?
That's not your...
Oh, you want me to do the traditional greeting? I'm a puppet. I'm a
I mean,
monkey.
like, that's
You want me
kind
to
of...
dance for you?
Absolutely, I want you to fucking dance. That's your god...
All right, lead me in, bro.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this most recent episode of Call It in the Ring. I am Jordan. I'm joined here with best friend Ryan.
Hello, everybody.
There we go. I'm going to keep what we just recorded previously in there just for funds.
Okay.
So you know. So Ed is not joining us tonight here. Traditionally, you hear Ed and I talk about everything wrestling. Ed could not make it tonight, so we figured we'd call on best friend Ryan to talk about everything of the WWE/WWF draft and also turning into the Superstar Shakeup. We're going to talk about the first one, all the ones in between, leading up to this most recent Superstar Shakeup in 2019. So Ryan, the draft. Let's not get into the history of it or anything like right now. What do you think of the idea of the draft? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's stupid? Or what do you think?
It's a smart thing to do because it creates intrigue. It has a built-in anticipation because the audience isn't going to know where the people they like are going to end up. There's always surprises and always twists and whatnot. But it also the purpose it really serves is to freshen up the shows, so you have new faces, like new people facing off against one another instead of just having the same people over and over and over and over again. It allows for like the undercard performers to get a shine if for a little while, or like an opportunity to prove what they can do. Like if you take like the best example and the worst example is Jinder Mahal in 2017. He got in that Superstar Shakeup, he went from Raw to SmackDown, and a month later he was WWE champion. On Raw he would have never been there.
And look at him now on Raw. He's nothing.
He's nowhere now. Yeah, he's that's the WWE not admitting their mistake, just brushing it under the rug. Persian rug, if you will.
Oh. And he's also Canadian.
That's true. He is Canadian.
So you got that to go with it. Also, you don't like his nipples.
Well, they're weird. They're really puffy, but they're not puffy. It's strange. I can't really describe it. But I looked it up, and that's that's a side effect of steroids. If you use anabolic steroids, I'm not saying he does. I'm just saying he has a feature that could be attributable to a thing.
Don't talk about steroids in WWE. Vince McMahon will kill you.
Like, I look like I have diabetes, but I do not. Just saying I have symptoms attributable to diabetes.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, back in the day, before there was a Superstar Shakeup or a draft, every Monday night was Raw, every Thursday night was SmackDown, and then they had Sunday Night Heat, sometimes leading up to the pay-per-view that Sunday. The Superstars were on both shows. But we know why. I see. Now, this is the thing, though, is that do we know 100% why they do the draft in 2002, the first draft? Is it just because the WCW, ECW merger and they had all these superstars, they needed to split them up? Why couldn't they just put them on the card like they did before? Like all of them go on Raw and SmackDown together.
Well, because you have all these people you're paying money to, and, you want to create as many recognizable faces or put as many recognizable faces on the shows as you can. But if you have the same 5 people in the main event, the same 5 people competing for the upper card, the mid card title, and the same 5 teams competing for the tag team title across 2 shows every week, it's gonna get you're gonna be paying people that you're not using. You know what I mean? Like, this is before the WWE became this big worldwide brand where they get money even if they're awful. You know what I'm saying?
Well, see, the thing I don't understand is that why even have two shows? I mean, we talked about this in our archives and called it the Ring with WCW, but WCW came up with Thunder first on Thursday nights with the blue light color. And then after Thunder aired, then SmackDown aired, which has the same exact color scheme. So, and Eric Bischoff has famously said that he knew that having two shows would just destroy the brand. So why do they want to have two shows? Can't they just have Monday Night Raw and deal with it?
Well, because you got to keep up with your competition, right? If your chief competition is saying that we have enough content for two shows, that is an audience share that you may feel like you're losing out on, or some revenue that they're going to earn away from you. So you have the other show, so you can compete on an even playing ground. That's really, I mean, that's why I think that's the only reason they did it, especially putting it on Thursday is like because Monday Nitro was a big, kind of fuck you. We don't care we don't care how big you are, sort of thing. So that I just feel like that's their equal measures. Like, oh, you want to add another one? We're gonna put it on the same fucking night, guys.
Okay. All right, fine, fair enough. So let's talk about the first draft. Okay. So the first draft really much kicked off the day after Survivor Series in 2001. Now, in July that year, we had the Invasion pay-per-view, which you had WWF versus ECW and WCW, hence the alliance. Ryan, do you remember who won that pay-per-view?
Who won the Invasion or the
Yeah,
Survivor Series?
Invasion.
The Invasion was won by the Alliance because Stone
The
Cold
alliance.
turned.
So then November comes around, and we're going to have Survivor Series. It's going to be winner take all in a rematch, if you will, of the Invasion angle. And Kurt Angle was supposed to be on the side of WCW, but he changed sides and went to WWF. It was all a ploy for Vince McMahon to win. So then Monday Night Raw, the day after Survivor Series, the first person that Vince McMahon fires is Paul Heyman. God bless Paul Heyman. I miss Paul Heyman. I wish he was back, don't you?
I mean, he is back.
I mean, he's
He's the
not.
advocate for Brock Lesnar. He's the advocate.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar's not coming back, Ryan. He's done.
No, I'm saying like, well, I mean, Paul Heyman will come back even if Brock's not there. Paul Heyman was representing wrestlers even when Brock Lesnar was gone. I don't think we'll ever, as long as Paul Heyman is breathing, he will probably be working with the WWE in some capacity.
Yes, I agree. So he doesn't actually fire Paul Heyman in real life, but for the sake of storyline, he does. Later on in March, after WrestleMania, when we had the Icon versus Icon match, The Rock versus Hulk Hogan, which you can listen to our archives, we get Vince McMahon coming out, gloating, doing his thing, blah, 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 blah. And Ric Flair comes out and says that you and I are actually partners. Now, I just fact checked myself. Ric Flair came out Monday after the Survivor Series pay-per-view. That was my fault. So do you remember that storyline?
Yeah, they are. Ric Flair was in charge of a consortium that purchased the controlling shares of WCW and ECW from the McMahons. So when Vince McMahon won, he actually absorbed the consortium. So they were both co-owners of the
Yes.
WWF.
So I just fact checked myself. That's what happened after Survivor Series. We get WrestleMania 18, and then after WrestleMania 18, we're going to get our first overall draft, which, weird, by the way, Vince McMahon runs SmackDown and Ric Flair runs Raw. You think that would be vice versa there, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, logically, you would think Vince McMahon would want to be the one in charge of Raw. I guess, yeah. I mean, it does seem a little counterintuitive.
Maybe they wanted to make SmackDown a bigger brand. They've been trying to do that for years now that SmackDown's going to be on Fox here soon, coming in October. But so Vince McMahon On March 25th, 2002, on an episode of Raw, he won a coin toss to determine who will receive the first overall selection. And so, therefore, Vince McMahon gets the first overall pick, which means SmackDown gets the first overall pick. Ryan, do you know who the first overall pick was for the first ever 2002 WWF draft?
Not off the top of my head, but I'm going to venture a guess that it is. I'm gonna say it was either Triple H because he was champion, or it was The Rock because he was a Hollywood guy.
It was The Rock. Rock
Boom.
was the first overall pick. So then we
All right.
got Ric Flair coming out. We're going over just the 10 of them here, folks. Raw comes out with their first overall pick, and it was The Undertaker. So The Rock and Undertaker are both gone. And then SmackDown comes back, and we got Kurt Angle. Now, what do you think of
So
Kurt
wait.
Angle and The Rock going to SmackDown there? Go ahead, please. What was your question?
Well, I just had a question because there's a parallel to the 2016 draft. So no one took the reigning champion of the company as the number one pick on their brand.
No. The Rock was the first overall pick on SmackDown, and then Raw had The Undertaker.
Okay.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, and they took Kurt Angle, you said?
They took Kurt. The next pick, SmackDown second pick was Kurt Angle.
Okay.
How about this? We're only going to talk about the 10, the top 10 picks. Triple H was not picked until, see if I can see him here. Triple H wasn't even picked in the top 10.
Really? When was
No.
when was the show?
March 25th of 2002.
March 25th. So that was before WrestleMania, so he wasn't champion then.
Oh, so it was before Mania?
I mean, Mania happens at the beginning of April.
Well, it says right here it says, okay, well, let's get into the top 10 and then we'll go to what happened
Oh,
storyline
I
wise.
know why. They couldn't take him because he was undisputed. He has to go to both shows to compete. That's why.
Yes.
That's why. All right.
Yeah, because it
I
said,
got you
well,
now.
let's go
I
for that
feel you,
right now.
homie.
Triple H was the undisputed WWF champion and could appear on each show, but after losing the title, he rejoined the SmackDown brand. So
All
Triple
right.
H goes to SmackDown. Number 3, like I said, was Kurt Angle. Raw's I'm sorry. That was SmackDown's number 2 pick. Raw's number 2 pick was NWO, but it was Kevin Nash, X-Pac, and Scott Hall because Hulk Hogan was gone.
So this was
No, he
after
wasn't gone.
WrestleMania?
No, this was. Let's see
Man,
here.
this is confusing. When was WrestleMania?
This
That's something we
okay.
need to figure out, guys.
WrestleMania 18 was March 17th. So this
Wow,
was
that was
after Mania.
early. That was
Yeah.
early, man.
March
Okay.
17th was Mania, so this was after Mania. And Hulk Hogan was not a part of the NWO at that time. So the second overall pick to Raw was Kevin Nash, X-Pac, and Scott Hall. Not a very good pick. Ric Flair is not picking right.
Well, I mean, he took the Undertaker. That's a home run right there.
But
This is when
not,
he was still his American badass gimmick.
which you hate that gimmick.
I don't like that gimmick.
You
I think
don't
it's
like that
ridiculous.
gimmick. The third overall pick for SmackDown was Chris Benoit.
Good pick. That's one of those future investments picks. That's the Finn Balor pick.
Yeah, you could say that. This one surprises me. Raw's third overall pick was Kane.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the time, I would venture to guess that's a pretty good pick. Kane was, dude was stacked at that point. I don't know if you remember, he had veins on veins.
Yeah, no,
And he was always, I always thought I've always been a fan of Kane, since when I was younger. I'll openly admit I was scared shitless when he, debuted at the Hell in a Cell match.
Who wasn't afraid of him?
Like
Everybody,
I don't think I've ever gotten over that moment with him.
right? He's
Yeah.
yeah. SmackDown comes in at their 4th overall pick with Hulk Hogan. So just you look at SmackDown real quick. SmackDown got The Rock, they got Kurt Angle, they got Chris Benoit, and now they got Hulk Hogan. That's pretty solid. 4. Raw's getting Undertaker, NWO, and Kane. And all they got right now is Kane and Undertaker. NWO is
I mean, you
I
got to
don't know
remember though,
why.
at this point, NWO had only been in the WWE since February, right after the Rumble. They premiered at a
It was right
pay-per-view.
after. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I mean,
Well, the number.
they're still getting their feet, and they still got that goodwill from the WCW, you know, as a brand, the NWO brand. So on paper, knowing what we know now, not not the greatest pick, but on paper then, probably a good pick.
Well, I'm just trying to say that it seems like SmackDown is getting its fair share of really good, really good superstars because the 4th pick for Raw at that time was the WWF Intercontinental Champion Rob Van Dam,
Again,
which
good
made the
pick. I
title
agree.
only exclusive to Raw. SmackDown's 5th overall pick was Billy Gunn and Chuck. Billy and Chuck. So that means that the WWE Tag Team titles was only exclusive to SmackDown. Oh, and also their manager Rico went along with them. Are you ever going to talk to me about your feelings about Billy and Chuck and their clearly homosexual subplot there?
Well, I mean, I didn't have any. I mean, I didn't like. I've never found Billy Gunn to be an interesting wrestler or character. I've never gotten behind like. I've never bought into his gimmicks, whatever they may be. Even when he was a part of D-Generation X, I was
I mean, he
never.
was great
I'm
for
never a
DX.
fan of. I was never a fan of Road Dogg either. I think I don't know. There's not much to them. Like Road Dogg can talk, that's fine. The Road Dogg's not a good like he's not a great wrestler. He's not an interesting wrestler, and neither is Billy Gunn. So I mean, I was not really invested in the whole are they or aren't they situation. I did think that um, the wedding ceremony episode they had on SmackDown was hysterical. Um,
Yeah.
I remember watching that live because I was wondering if they were going to kiss. Like I was wondering if they were going to actually go through with it, and they didn't. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, because I don't think Vince McMahon would do that. Well, let's go back to Raw. Was Booker T? What do you think of that pick?
Well, I mean, at the time, I mean, good pick. I like Booker T. I like him. I mean, I like most of the people that we're going to see on this list. To be honest with you.
Well, we got Edge going at number 6 on SmackDown. We had Big Show going at number. Raw's got a lot of big guys. Rikishi goes in number 7 on SmackDown. Bubba Ray goes number 7 on Raw. Devon goes number 8 on SmackDown. So that was a big splitting up of the
The Dudley
tag teams
Boys.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
splitting
mean,
them up.
I don't know how many tag teams were separated, but I mean, that at least shows that like it instills the concept that this whole thing's unpredictable, right? You're not going to be able to know what we're doing, where anyone's going. You're breaking up these two people throughout their whole career that have been synonymous with one another, and you put them on different brands. Now it failed miserably, but you got to experiment, or else things just get stale.
Well, they did not experiment with this one because we got Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman going in on Raw at number 8.
Well, hey, you also got to remember this is Brock Lesnar debuted the night after WrestleMania, so him getting shot up already to being picked on the live broadcast shows that they had a lot of faith that he was gonna get over and he was gonna be important. And for 2 years, I mean, he was what SummerSlam was when he won his championship for the first time.
Yeah, I'm not a Lesnar fan. We can talk about him, but I just.
Well, no, I'm just
Oh,
adding my 2 cents on the pick. I think it's a smart pick.
Mark Henry's SmackDown's 9th pick. William Regal is Raw's 9th pick. And then, which makes, since William Regal was the European champion, that makes the European title exclusively to Raw. And the last 2 picks was SmackDown gets Maven. Remember Maven for season?
Tough enough, yeah.
Maven was the WWF Hardcore Champion, making the title exclusive to SmackDown. But Raven defeated Maven for the championship race, and therefore Raven brought the title back to Raw. And Lita was Raw's 10th overall pick. If anybody else is interested in checking out the picks, just go ahead and Google the 2002 WWF Draft Lottery. You can see all the picks. But what did Raw get as a title? They get the champion for both shows.
They
get
get
Intercontinental
European.
and Hardcore.
Yes.
SmackDown gets the Undisputed Championship. They get the
Well, SmackDown doesn't get the Undisputed. That goes across both shows. I think the women's title goes across both shows too, if I'm correct.
It is. So I was just saying for the sake of saying. But the titles that SmackDown gets is the Tag Team Championship and the Cruiserweight Championship. That's it.
So I wonder how long was it before? How long was it before they reintroduced the United States Championship?
That was until what? That was until like Cena came back, like when Cena was like huge and everything, right?
That's when they instituted the second.
I believe so, but I can check
title?
that out.
Wow.
So do you know how in the NFL they have the draft, right, Ryan? And they always have the top picks and everything, but they also have a title called Mr. Irrelevant. Do you know what Mr. Irrelevant is?
The very last pick of the draft.
The very, very last pick. So I'm just going to tell you for the shits and giggles for all the fans, the very last pick for the 2002 WWF draft was Perry Saturn.
Okay. Yeah, I mean he wasn't long for the company after that. Anyways, right? I think he was out before. Was he out before 2003?
He was. I don't know. I have no idea. Oh, he's from Cleveland. Anyway, but Triple H, like I said, was undisputed. Chris Jericho had a match for the title the night before the night of the draft, so he joined SmackDown. Stephanie joined SmackDown, and Stone Cold Steve Austin was considered a free agent for some reason, and he was drafted to Raw.
Yeah. Stone Cold had some like weird clause in his contract about if the roster was ever officially split, because they used to do like they used to split the rosters up for the house show circuit. Certain people would go certain shows and perform. And there was some weird thing in his contract that if the roster was ever officially split, he would get something. I don't remember exactly what it was.
So what do you think of the first overall draft? Do you think that was successful? Did you like kind of what they were doing with it?
Hey, yeah, no, I mean, I like the concept. I think like even then I liked it because it created intrigue into what are they going to do now? How are things going to be different? Who are we going to see on TV on any given day and things like that. I remember being excited about it. Like making sure I tuned in to see who was getting picked because I'm 12 at this point. I'm treating it like it's a real thing, that these people don't know where they're going, and everything's up in the air. Yeah, I mean, I think it was successful. You created, I mean, in the aftermath of it, you create, I mean, at least one big new star in Brock Lesnar. I mean, well, that's really all I remember. Oh no, yeah, they used the Undertaker shortly after that because what? Triple H has the title for a month or two, and then he loses to Hogan, who a month later loses it to the Undertaker. And I remember them using the Undertaker in a couple instances to put over younger guys. Like I remember the ladder match they had with he had with on TV with Jeff Hardy in July of 2002. Yeah, so I mean, it like I said, it creates new opportunities. Creates new opportunities for wrestlers we don't normally get to see.
Well, then they change it, which this is what I don't like. So they call it the draft. So they have the draft in 2002. They do nothing in 2003, but in 2004, on March 22nd in Detroit, Michigan, they do the second draft. And they call it a draft, but it's not, Ryan. This is a superstar shakeup. They would have wrestlers from one brand being traded to another brand or just be placed to another brand. So this is my 2 cents. And I don't know if you're going to agree with me or not, but I don't like the superstar shakeup style at all. What I think they should do is say, okay, so we'll do our first draft, right? And everybody is signed to a whatever 2-year agreement, right? After that 2-year agreement is up, you are now a free agent and you can go to either or. So what I'm trying to say is that every year we have the top 20 people and they can either stay or go. But those 20 people, out of those 20 people, they're going to go somewhere. What do you think of that idea besides this just random bullshit?
I mean, I don't quite get what you're trying to say. Like these, you have 20 people, so 10 people from each brand,
Yes.
and then those people. Try to explain it to me again one more time.
So Vince McMahon would come out and say, here are the 10 people from Raw. Here are the 10 people from SmackDown. These people are going to either stay or go to another brand. But out of all the wrestlers we have, these are the 20 that are going to go. Because
Okay.
as an example, 2004's draft, the first overall pick or the first switch was Rene Dupree coming from Raw to SmackDown. It was like if somebody said, Rene Dupree's a putz, let's put him on SmackDown. You know what I mean? That there's no like, oh my God, my favorite wrestler's in the top 20. He's either going to go or stay. What's going to happen? It's just random now. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, I gotcha. Well, I mean that also creates intrigue, though, right? You wanna save like a big reveal for the final hour? Or did they just do this on Raw? Or did they do it across both shows?
Both shows.
They did. Well, no. Did they have the lottery draft on Raw or Raw and SmackDown across 2 shows?
No, it was like it was in 2002.
So it's just the one show.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, yeah, you want to save like a big reveal, right? So I mean, putting Rene Dupree, trading Rene Dupree or whatever, that really makes sense. But I mean, the lottery system also makes it seem like again everything's up in the air. You don't know who is going where, and it already has this built-in level of intrigue. I think, I mean, I like your idea. I think it kind of needs some rejiggering. Like I would say, the general managers, commissioners, whatever they were called at the time, you get 2. You get to keep 2 people. That's it. Everyone else is eligible. So you have to decide who are these top 2 people. Do you want to keep your top champion and your top female champion? Do you want to keep 2 people? Like is your champion currently a heel and you don't get along, so you're fine with them letting them go? There's the storyline built in where you are at odds with with your reigning champion. They're a bad guy, but you understand the value that they present to your brand and the one that you have to make sure is more successful than the other one. So you stand up for what's right and what's best, and you decide that they're safe, even though you're not getting along.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. I actually like that idea. They just need to do something because getting into this year's shakeup, it was random. Like, I'm gonna give you a gripe. I like The Miz just because I remember watching him as Mike from the Real World in 2000 when they went to New York. And he said he loved wrestling during that reality show, so it's just fun to see him here, right?
Okay.
Because when I first got back into wrestling, because when you first got me back into wrestling 2 years ago, I didn't know the motherfucker wrestled. So when I first saw him, I was like, oh, this guy was on, oh, this is fun, right? So what pisses me off is that Miz was on Raw. Then he got put to SmackDown last year. He ended the very interesting feud, in my opinion, with Shane. And then once the WrestleMania match is over with, Miz goes back to Raw now, and that storyline is over with.
Yeah, I know it sucks.
That's what I'm trying to get at, is that that's what sucks, is that there's no reason for that. Now, if you want to switch them up, have one superstar, then I mean like one superstar, one male, one female, and have those be like the big ones, and the other ones be the B players. Maybe the B player, like a Jinder Mahal, would be more successful on a SmackDown than a Raw. And he
Well,
was.
well, I mean, when you look at who was switched, you really only had like one unquestionable main event guy switch between both shows, right? AJ Styles and Roman Reigns.
I
I
mean, I
mean, I
mean
guess
Finn
if you want
Balor.
to I guess if you include Finn Balor, but I mean, he hasn't really been like a top guy since he got injured in 2016. Like he's wrestled for the title, like the top title, but that doesn't mean that he is a top guy. You know, like Jinder Mahal, no one's ever going to view him as a top guy, but he was champion for 6 months. You know what I'm saying?
He was. He was the champion when I got back into wrestling with you, and I was getting ready to turn it off halfway through because I was so annoyed with him as a fucking wrestler.
Yeah, but like, I mean, if you look at, because I don't remember everyone that was transferred over that was switched between brands, but I mean, to what I can remember, that's how it seemed to me. Is like you had two bona fide main eventers trade shows, and then you had a bunch of upper mid card people, then a lot of like it was evenly placed between upper card, low mid card and low card guys. The women's a different story. Um, for this year, the SmackDown got way better in the women's trades, but I think that yeah, you have two bona fide main eventers, and the rest are upper mid carder at best.
Well, this is. I'm not going to do all of them because there was 15 traded to Raw and 13 going to SmackDown. But these were the big ones that went from SmackDown to Raw. You had The Miz, you had Ricochet, Aleister Black, Rey Mysterio. This is a big one because they've been on SmackDown forever. The Usos are now on Raw. And also, Naomi has always been a SmackDown chick, and now she's on Raw. And Lars Sullivan and AJ Styles. Those are some pretty big names, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're switching AJ Styles, The Miz, The Usos, and Ricochet, Aleister
Naomi.
Black, and Naomi. Yes, those are all. Well, sorry, you're switching AJ Styles, The Miz, Usos, Naomi. Those are big SmackDown names. Those have been associated with them since the 2016 draft. They've all reached the top of the mountain of their respective divisions on SmackDown. Right? And then switching from Raw to SmackDown, what? Roman Reigns,
Finn
Finn
Balor,
Balor,
Ember
mm,
Moon, Bailey.
Bailey.
Um, Bailey is on SmackDown. Elias is on SmackDown. Roman Reigns, and I love her. It means nothing to anybody else, but Liv Morgan. I love her. And also Mickey James.
Okay, so I mean, Mickey James at this point is just she's one of those gatekeeper veterans who she's not going to win a title again. You know, she's just going to be there to have good matches and fill time. Um, which that's what she's got. This far into her career, and she's still good. I still like her. But I mean, yeah, that's kind of as much as I hate to say it, kind of a no-name pick because it's kind of there to add depth to the roster, if you will. But
Well, I'm upset about Liv Morgan, man. They're gonna ruin up my team, the Riot Squad.
I'll be honest with you. See, this is part of the thing that I like about switching in it, the Superstar Shakeup, and the the reason they do this is to create new matchups and push people that would not have normally been pushed on their show, 'cause maybe either the roster's too big, there's too much, like their attention is elsewhere and things like that. I'm actually kind of glad they broke up with the Riot Squad. I kind of wish Ruby Riot had gone to SmackDown by herself instead of Liv, but I think Liv Morgan has a lot of upside in terms of what they can do with her. I hope that they don't just move her there to be a body on the roster, because they need someone who always gets pinned. Because like who, if you look at the bigger picture of it, who do they have on SmackDown? They have Bailey, they have Ember Moon,
Well,
Charlotte,
this is what I'm gonna hold on.
Carmella,
I'm gonna tell you
Asuka,
I'm gonna tell you exactly who they have. They have
Kairi
Asuka,
Sane
Bailey,
now,
Becky Lynch, Carmella, Charlotte, Ember Moon, Kairi Sane. They have Mandy Rose,
Sonya
Sonya
Deville.
Deville, Tamina. Tamina's now on SmackDown.
Tamina's now on SmackDown. Wow.
Yep, it's on the yeah, Tamina's on SmackDown. So Liv Morgan is not gonna have a chance. She's never ever gonna beat Charlotte. She may have some fun matches with Kairi Sane, but they're saying that Kairi Sane is gonna be in a tag team with Asuka.
Oh, well, she is an attack team. That's already a thing.
So then Liv Morgan's first matchup could be against Mandy Rose.
Could be. Well, the thing is, right? The They're gonna push Mandy Rose because she's hot and she's blonde, right? And she's got the tough guy with Sonya Deville. Now until they split them up, that's probably what they're gonna run with, right? So
Mm-hmm.
uh, Mandy Rose is not gonna be she's gonna be a mid or an upper card for the women's division on SmackDown. Asuka and Kairi Sane, they're gonna be preoccupied with tag team. So the people I see being the enhancement talent, as you will, the people who are there just to make the other guy look good, are probably going to be Tamina, Carmella, and Tamina, Mickie James, Liv Morgan, maybe Carmella, because Carmella could be either or. She could get a push, she could win a bunch of matches, and nobody's batting an eye. She could lose a bunch of matches, nobody would bat an eye. She's kind of just there at this point.
Yeah, I know it sucked because I had such a good time when she was the actual champion.
Well, I mean, I didn't, because what they did to Asuka to try to get her over, but it's what it is in the past. They're probably never gonna see Asuka the way a lot of people see Asuka. I don't know how you feel about Asuka. I think she's phenomenal, and I feel like as much as I hate to say it, for a scripted show, but she deserves better, I think.
Well, let's see what you can do with Kairi Sane, because I feel that they're going to definitely go after the what is the Iconics on Raw or SmackDown?
Oh, they go both. They go to Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. At least they're supposed to. But I mean, I don't know if those women's championships are worth fighting over anymore.
Yeah, tell me about that before we close out the show. How do you feel about that? Since you just brought that up.
About like who the champions are, or about the tag titles?
Yeah, know about the champions and also the tag titles. So, like, what
Well,
do you mean?
I think it's a good idea, right? I think a women's tag team, because if you want to push the concept of revolution becomes evolution. So they are now prominently featured on the shows. They are marquee matchups on the shows. They main evented WrestleMania. They've had their own pay-per-view. They've been in every match type just about that the male counterparts on the roster have. So I mean, short of introducing a mid-card women's singles title, which doesn't make sense, you introduce the tag titles, because that gives other female wrestlers on the show something to chase after, instead of just waiting their turn and constantly squabbling over the opportunity to get a shot at the championship on their respective brand. However, I don't think that you can have your I don't think you can have the Iconics win at WrestleMania, uh, 2 pay-per-views removed from the titles being won in their initial bout by Bayley and Sasha. Bayley and Sasha having a match at the pay-per-view in between Fastlane, where the match ends in disqualification after, I do believe, less than 5 minutes, and then they drop the titles at WrestleMania. For the Iconics to not have won a single match since WrestleMania, they have lost 2 tag matches on Raw and SmackDown, and they have lost each a singles matchup on Raw and SmackDown these past 2 weeks. 4 shows, 4 matches, 4 losses. Is not a way to build those titles up as being worth something. Because the people,
So then you probably agree with Sasha Banks wanting to quit then.
Well, I mean, it's her prerogative to want to quit. I think if you feel like you're being stifled and you're being lied to by management, I can understand you being upset. If she wants to quit over it, I mean, that's her life, man. I would hope her the best. She probably would go to AEW because she's still a big money draw in some respects. But I mean, it is kind of shitty that they told Sasha and Bayley that they're going to get these long reigns with the titles to establish them as something of value, and just to get the night or the day of WrestleMania to be told, oh hey, you guys are gonna drop your titles so we can split you up.
And especially lose to the Iconics. Like, who the
Well,
fuck?
see,
I mean,
I don't mind.
ugh.
I don't mind the Iconics being champions. I actually like the Iconics. I like their shtick. I think they're annoying and it's wonderful. But you have to make them seem strong, like they can beat people. They can't just. It's like what they did with the Raw tag team titles, where Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins just kind of got in the match. They got a match at WrestleMania and they won by a quick roll up pin. The next night they won by a quick roll up pin. They did the same storyline with the B team, where they kept beating the Revival last year by these fluke happenings. And it's not a way to build up your title as something strong. If people who can't win on their own merit, if they're good guys, like how do you expect anyone to buy in that they can beat anyone? Like Kofi.
Right.
Kofi Kingston's reign is super interesting to me because he's always going to be the underdog. You don't know if he's going to win, right? But you care about it because they've kept him strong. Going into WrestleMania, he won. He lasted over an hour in a gauntlet. He came in second at the Elimination Chamber. He won another gauntlet. He got beat up along the way, but he was still strong. And since he's won the title, he hasn't lost a singles or a tag match yet. That's a way to keep him strong. Like he can lose here and there, but to lose every match is just weird.
Not a good champion. I agree. Well, everybody, that concludes our discussion of what our opinions are of the first ever WWE draft and also the ending of the Superstar Shakeup. We hope you enjoy this episode of Call It in the Ring. And make sure to check us out at movieguyspodcast.com, movieguyspodcast.podbean.com, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. Just search for Movie Guys Podcast. Thank you so much, best friend Ryan, for joining me. And we'll be back in 2 more weeks for another awesome episode for Call It in the Ring. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.